Hello, and welcome to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the injury market's top program for doctors, lawyers, and insurers who want to gain greater insight on how to improve patient recovery results and deliver better services in the U.S. injury market. Please welcome your host, Dr. Jeffrey Allen Kronk.
Okay, doctors, today what I want to focus on is what kind of practice are you going to build? What kind of practice are you going to build? And the reason why I say that is because I know in my own journey, in my own private practice, I didn't know what kind of practice I wanted to have at first. I didn't everything practice. I came out of school, went to work for a high-end clinic that was doing about 550 patients a week in a 4-day work week. I spent my weekends in the mall screening patients to get more patients into the clinic. And I decided to go out on my own. And the first 2 years, I starved to death. I mean, I made $25,000 in my first 2 years. I hired a coach, a consultant, and my income took off. My business took off. And then I was making more money than I ever dreamed of. Now, for 3 years, approximately 3 years, 3 to 4 years, I did that. And I was doing very, very well. If you had looked at me financially, you know, anyone would have said, oh my gosh, he's doing really, really well. But I knew I was very average. So there was things that I realized that I liked treating at that point, and there were things that I didn't like treating. I didn't like treating Medicare. I didn't like the Medicare requirements, restrictions. I liked the older patient, but I also didn't like the fact that I was dealing at the end of their life, and there were so many things that I could do early on that would have prevented them from ever getting the condition they were in the first place. So I really started to say, well, what do I like to do? Because I want to create the practice of what I like to treat. And what I realized I really liked treating was injury patients. I like treating injury patients because I wasn't dealing with patient finances when I was doing it. I like treating injury patients because I like taking on the risk that the patient had to get a full recovery, because so many patients don't get a full recovery. I liked that risk. I felt like it was good enough that I could assume that risk and feel very comfortable with taking anyone's child, their husband, wife, grandma, sister, you name it. And I was it. That's how I felt, and that's how I built my clinic. So, and we got stellar results. I had stellar staff over all those years, just unbelievable people that I worked with. And so what I'm saying to you is that about 5 or 6 years into practice is when I finally decided what kind of practice I wanted to have. And that was an injury practice. And then I started dedicating myself toward what did that mean? What did that look like? How could I get injury patients better? How could I do better in diagnostics? How could I determine the severity and location of a spinal ligament injury? All of those things that today are just, you know, things that I've been doing for years and years and years and teaching doctors to do. But here's what I want to, here's kind of the thing I want to hit you with. If you're in practice for 30 years, a lot of you are going to spend somewhere between 60 and 90,000 hours building a practice, maintaining a practice, running a practice. You're going to spend a lot of time, right? Now, for those of you that are, you know, hey, you hate to spend money, let's just get over that, because you probably spend $250,000 just to get a license. Over the next 30 years, you're going to spend another $150,000 just to maintain a license. Do your CE and to maintain it. Easily in your business, you're going to spend $100,000 over those 30 years on business structuring, coaching, consultants. You're going to probably spend a lot more than that, but these are very conservative numbers. You'll easily spend another $100,000 over that 30 years on accounting and tax work. And again, that's probably closer to $300,000. Marketing is going to cost you easily another $300,000 or more. Now, that's at a very low figure. So I'm just under $1 million so far. And we haven't talked about employee wages. $200,000 a year for 30 years is $6 million. Rents, $2,000 per month, which is really inexpensive, $720,000. Utilities, supplies, equipment, clinic technology, clinic computers, clinic supplies, clinic legal fees, malpractice insurance. You're going to spend a lot of money. So get used to spending money, right? I like to spend money. Matter of fact, I like to spend as much money as I can because I spend money on things that make me money. If you could spend $1 and get $2 back for every dollar you spent, you would be okay with spending money. It's just a lot of times what you're buying is you're buying things that are not assets. You're buying liabilities. You're buying cars that have, payments on them. You're buying rents that have payments on them. You're buying things. You're buying clothing. You're things that degenerate, right? You're not buying actual assets. Now, what's an asset? Well, your clinic is an asset. You're an asset. Education is an asset. Coaching is an asset. Equipment's an asset. Real estate's an asset. You want to be spending money. You want to be spending as much marketing as an asset. You want to be spending as much money as you possibly can. If I said to you, hey, would you like to have $10 million in your bank account at the end of that 30 years? Would you like to have 20 million, 50 million, 100 million? I mean, if you're going to spend 60,000 or 90,000 hours, why not have $10 million in the bank? Why not have $50 million in the bank? You're going to spend all that time. Why not have whatever you want? And those numbers could be really low. You might go, oh my God, I want to get out of bed for $50 million in the next 30 years. I wouldn't even consider it as a job, right? Now, some of you are out there going, wow, I've never even considered what the hell you're talking about right now. That's why I'm talking about it, so that you can start to consider it. So here's the thing. What I'm going to tell you, no matter what kind of practice you want to build, an injury practice is the foundation of every practice. So the more you understand an injury practice, the more you understand the foundation of spinal injuries, the easier it is to build whatever kind of practice you want to build. Whatever kind of practice you want to build. You want a neuropathy practice? Great. What's the cause of neuropathy? You want chronic pain? What's the cause of chronic pain? You want any other kind of, you want a wellness practice? Good. What are you maintaining wellness from? Most patients don't come in and say, hey, Dr. Kronk, I've never seen a chiropractor before in my life. I'd like to start coming in monthly just for the heck of it. I don't really know what it is. I don't have any problems. And that's what I want to do. And I want to start to see a chiropractor monthly for the rest of my life. Most patients don't start there. Most patients start with some condition that you help them out with. I'm going to tell you that underlying condition almost always has an origination in injury. So the more you understand injury and the more you understand spinal injuries, the more you understand building a practice that's going to be super valuable while you're spending your 60 to 90 hours doing it, while you're spending $10 million, $20 million over that time building it. So you got to look at, each type of practice is like a vehicle. And you got to look at, where do you want to go? Some of you want to go, if I want to get from here to Clearwater to Los Angeles, okay, I could take a moped, but it's going to take me a long time. I could take a golf cart. It's going to take me a long time. Now, I could take a high-end Tesla. All right, it's not going to take me nearly as long. I could take a jet. Wow, that's going to go a lot faster. Each of those is a vehicle. In your practice is separated into different vehicles. You probably never thought about it this way. So your injury side of your practice is one vehicle. Maybe you have nutrition. Nutrition is a vehicle for you. Maybe you have chronic pain patients. That's a vehicle. It's through standard insurance. Maybe you have a cash practice. That's another vehicle. Right? All these vehicles will help you to get to where you want to go. But in my experience, the underlying foundation for all of them is injury work, and the fastest vehicle that I know of is injury work. So injury work is not hard. It's not hard. It's not hard to get into the injury market. It's not hard to disrupt relationships in the injury market. It's not hard to make yourself known in the injury market. It's not hard at all. That's what we do. That's what we do in the Smart Injury Doctors program. That's what I do for doctors, and that's what I do for lawyers. Right, is teach you how to do that. But the first thing you need to look at is your vehicle. The first thing you got to look at is what kind of practice you want to have in the first place. What do you really like treating? I mean, what gets you up in the morning and goes, okay, good, I want to take on this challenge. For me, it was injury patients. And yeah, there's weird stuff that goes on in the injury market, right? There's schemes, there's mills, there's shady practices, there's all kinds of stuff, but that doesn't have to be you. Matter of fact, that should never be you. Because remember, at the end of the day in the injury market, there's an injured mom an injured husband, a child, a grandmother, a grandpa, a girlfriend, a boyfriend, an employer, a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, a Catholic, a Protestant, a Jew, Jewish, Islamic, Buddhist, wealthy, homeless, married, divorced, young, old, in shape, out of shape. It comes in all sizes. And it's the most beautiful practice to me that there is. Yes, it comes with a medical legal aspect. It's not hard to navigate that aspect. Yes, it comes with certain insurance and insurance procedures. It's not hard to navigate. It's not, whatever you've been told, it's not hard. It's not hard to navigate, and it would definitely be the type of practice that I want to grow because, one, it's very purpose-driven. You got to get into the purpose of the fact that these people have a 50% chance of never fully recovering. So that injured mom, that injured husband, that injured child, grandma, grandpa, girlfriend, boyfriend that I just talked about, when they have a spinal injury, they have a 50% chance of never fully recovering. So you want to take that challenge on, then, oh my God, if you're the doctor that says, look, I'm an outstanding doctor, I can get great results, you should be the most seen injury provider in your market. And it's not hard to do. So all I wanted to do today is talk a little bit about, hey, what kind of injury or what kind of practice do you want to grow? Because you should think about it, right? And also think about your exit, right? Injury practices are really easy to standardize, and they have great exit strategies. So again, just wanted to talk a little bit about what kind of practice you want to have. If you have interest in finding out more about our program called the Smart Injury Doctors Program, just go to our website. You can scroll through, learn more, and you can set up a discovery call with Chrissy. She's an excellent member of my staff. Or you can call us at 800-940-6513 and do the same thing. Just set up a call. Find out more about it. Doctors, as always, I appreciate your time, your attention, and I hope something that I said to you has some sort of impact in your practice or in your life today. I look forward to hearing you or seeing you on the next podcast.
You've been listening to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the #1 audio production show for professionals in the U.S. injury market that want to deliver better injury services to the patients, clients, or insureds they serve. If you like what you heard today, please leave us a review and don't forget to join us on our next program.